Now, let's look at the next rule over here. Okay, in the previous video, we have established the 5 rules over here, but the last one that I focus on is the multiplication rule. Okay, the next one over here in indices, we will look at the division rule. Alright, so very similar to multiplication rule is actually the opposite. So how do I express the division rule over here? So I will write it as a, okay, a to the power of m, and let's just say I am dividing this with a to the power of n. Now what will happen over here? Alright, if I have the same base and I'm dividing it, what can I do to the power? Alright, very similar to multiplication. If I multiply the same base, I can add the power. So since this is a division operation, so since I am dividing this, I can subtract the power. Alright, I can subtract the power. Okay, so let's put an example over here. So I have a m minus n. Okay, so that is the division rule over here. Okay, now let's try with some example here. Okay, let's try with some example. So let's just say I have let's just say I have 2 to the power of 4. Okay, let's just say I have 2 to the power of 4, and I'm dividing this by 2 to the power of 2. Okay, so what's going to happen here? So if you look based on the division rule over here, since I'm dividing the same base, I can subtract the power. So this is how I will write it. So I will write 2, and then I will write 4 minus 2. All right, subtract by 2. Okay, so as a summary, so what do I get over here? I will be able to write this as 2, okay, 4 minus 2, which is also 2. Okay, so when we expand this, we should get 4, right? That's our final answer. Okay, now same thing with the multiplication rule, we can check this as well. All right, okay, let's just say again, if you do not know about this division rule, you can just expand, all right, this number and this number individually, and then you can check what do you get after you run the operation. Okay, so let's do this very quickly. 2 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the power of 2. Okay, 2 to the power of 4, I should get 16. Divide by 2 to the power of 2, I should get 4. And true enough, 16 divided by 4, I should get my 4, right? So this has already proved that this division rule is indeed true. Alright? Now, the next one over here, I'm going to show you a next example, and this is going to be quite important because this is usually a very common mistake that a lot of people will do in indexes. So let's start off with the question. So let's just say I have a simple question over here. I will use, and let's just say I will use the base of 3 this time. Okay, 3 to the power of, let's just say I have -3. Okay, and then I am going to subtract 3 to the power of -2. All right, now let's just put this example. Okay, now how are we going to solve this question? All right, by looking at the division rule, since we know that we have the same base, we can subtract the power, right? So I'm just going to write this down first. So we know that if I have this, I can write as 3, and then I can subtract the power. Now this is where a lot of people will make mistake. So over here is -3. I can subtract the power. So I will subtract this power over here. So this is how you should write this. Okay, now take a look at the formula again. Okay, so it says this base, all right, I have m minus n. That's my m, that's my n, right? So my m, it's negative 3, which I wrote over here. All right, subtract, I write my subtraction. And my n over here, in this case, it's negative 2. So I write negative 2 over here, all right? Okay, that is how you're supposed to write it. Okay, and then after that, we will just solve this. So I will get 3. I have my negative and negative together. So it will be changed into positive, right? Okay, so in the end, it will be negative 3 plus 2 over here, right? It's going to be negative 3 plus 2. So let's just quickly solve this. And I should get 3 to the power of negative 1. All right. Now again, we have established an understanding of what is this. This will refer back to rule number 1. So I can, if I would like to expand this and write it as fraction. So my final answer here is supposed to be 1 over 3. Okay? Now this step over here is important, so please make sure you all do not make an error over here, okay? So if you see a negative power over here, remember, subtract and then you put a bracket again and then only put the power inside, okay? Don't do this mistake, this is the correct one. Now, a very similar question, I can also do another example over here. Now let's just say I write my question like this. Let's just say I have 4 power of 2, okay? And I will take this over by 4 to the power of negative 3, okay? Or power of negative 3. So what will happen over here, all right? What will happen over here? So if I look at this, how do I relate this to this? Now think about it. What I have written down here is a fraction, correct? No? It's a fraction. So a fraction, what operation does it belongs to? Okay, it belongs to a division, correct or not? So in other words, I can actually rewrite this as like this. 4 power of 2 divided by 4 power of negative 3. Correct or not? See, I have changed to something that I'm familiar with right now. Okay? So after that, what you're going to do is you're going to apply the multiplication rule, the division rule in. So in the end, we know that if we are dividing the same base, we can subtract the power. Now remember, be careful, there's a negative sign here. So it's going to be this power subtract this power. Okay, so this power is 2. I am going to subtract, okay, based on the formula, this power, negative 3. So I'm going to put a bracket and write my negative 3 inside here. Okay, it is written in this way. So after that, let's solve this. So we can check over here, my negative and negative will give me a positive, correct or not? So I can rewrite this as 4 to the power of 2 plus 3, which will give you 4 to the power of 5. Okay? So very quickly, if we were to expand this 4 to the power of 5, I should get 1024. Okay? Now that is the division rule over here. Now, let's add on to our list of rules for indexes over here. So rule number 6, all right, rule number 6. Now that will be the division rule, okay? So my division rule can look, it will look like this. So let me write this down. So I have a to the power of m, and if I'm dividing this by a to the power of n, which means I can subtract the power over here. Okay? Now, don't be confused. This has the same meaning of this one. So you can also write like this as well. If I have a to the power of m, oh, sorry, wrong color, m over a to the power of n. Okay? This fraction, it means a division operation, correct? As shown in the example over there. So I can also rewrite this as a m minus n. Okay? Right, we can actually call this as rule number 7 lah. It's the same thing, okay? So over here, all right, these are all my indexes rule, all right? You have to make sure that you are familiarized about all these rules and how to apply them, when to apply them in order to answer all kinds of indexes question. Okay? Thank you.